I thought I would show you guys some of my copper specimens in my collection. Now, I think I have done a video on copper, native copper before. That is like this pure copper. And I'll put a link in the description below to that video. I think in that video I cover a lot more the history of copper and also some of the copper ores. And in this video I'm just going to kind of cover just native copper in general and some of the nearby occurrences in Michigan, which I find quite interesting. Now, the native copper on the left, this lovely copper on the left, this one comes from Nova Scotia, and then this copper nugget on the right comes from Michigan. Now, this would have been probably a lump of native copper that didn't look too appeasing, and so they tumbled it and then sold it as like a copper nugget instead of just a pure native specimen, which I find is a shame because I do enjoy these native copper specimens. Now, the specimen on the left is another Nova Scotia specimen. I thought it'd be interesting to show you the difference between one that has been prepped and one that still needs some prepping. The copper could be cleaned off a bit more so that it's a bit more lustrous. And so hopefully I'll, in the future, learn how to do that and do that on this specimen so that it's a bit more clean and it presents nicely. But I thought this was a good juxtaposition of a fully prepped native copper specimen versus one that still needs a bit of time. And you can see kind of the copper has kind of grown, the copper crystal has grown on this like thin sheet right on the matrix. Now, one of the main reasons I wanted to do this video, even though I have shown those specimens that I've shown earlier in the video before, I had a new addition of native copper to my collection. This is a nice chunky, crystally-ish specimen of native copper out of the Keweenaw Peninsula in Michigan. Now, the Keweenaw Peninsula in Michigan is pretty unique because of just the insane amounts of native copper that have been found there and mined there in the past. I'll probably try and share some pictures of some of the stuff. It's a pretty interesting and unique formation, as most of the copper around the world is found in copper-based minerals, so not just pure copper. So native copper is compared to the copper ores, as we'll call them, like malachite and azurite, is more uncommon. And so the copper formations in the Keweenaw Peninsula in Michigan are quite interesting and unique. I believe they formed due to basically the kind of like these fissures, and I think it was there's also in some cases there's this amygdaloidal basalt that basically gets filled in, that gets steeped by the kind of like the soup that is carrying the copper, and so as the copper mineralizes and kind of crystallizes and solidifies, it's solidified in those veins and those amygdaloidal basalts in the Keweenaw Peninsula, and so you get these large chunky veins and large deposits of pure native copper. Like, just look at this guy. This guy has got some lovely little crystallization at the top, and this bottom one is a bit more lumpy, but that's a pretty large native copper crystal, and it's got great color too, so it's quite lovely. And now, in my previous video that I did on native copper, I mentioned that in Michigan, Native Americans did actually mine the copper and use it to make tools and ornaments. So, if you are interested in that kind of stuff, check out that link in the description to that video, because I go more depth about that. But hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.